Hi, my name is Katie, and this is my first booktube video. I've been wanting to start a booktube for a very long time. I'm just very camera shy, and I've tried a couple times, didn't work out well, the footage that is, and I figured that at some point you have to just sit down and do it. So here I am. For my first video, I decided I would do the Booktube Newbie Challenge, because I figured that would be a good introduction to who I am and what I'm hoping my channel will be like. So here goes. Alright, the first question. Oh, and by the way, this tag was originally created by Brenda C. about 6-7 years ago. So it's been around for a long time, and I'm certainly not the first one to do this. So all the credit to her. So, first question. Why did you start this channel? Oh, and if I'm looking down, I wrote all my notes down so that way I don't sound like a complete idiot or have to film this many times, although probably not saving myself from either of those two things. Alright, so why did you start this channel? I really wanted a platform to be able to talk about books and basically just to join the community and to talk about books, because especially right now we're all a little isolated and there's not much I can talk about or anything like that. So I'm really hoping for a sense of community and an ability to talk more about books. And I also wanted to encourage myself to read more, because my reading's definitely petered off a little bit since college started, and even towards the end of high school when things started picking up and you're trying to learn more and more, you start neglecting doing things for fun, especially things that are tiring sometimes, like reading, especially when you're doing a lot of reading for school. So hoping to encourage myself to read more. And I also need to increase my ability to speak intelligently and clearly and flowingly and beautifully. You're probably never gonna get to beautifully, but I can try, you know, and it's pretty evident that I need a little bit of practice, I'm guessing, from this video. So that's why I would like to start the channel. Alright, that brings us to question number 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Well, I'm not sure how unique or fun I'm going to be. That's not a great way to start things, is it? I should be trying to sell myself, shouldn't I? I think that for me at least, I will be talking mostly about the literary fiction, the classics, like most people, but I would probably throw in a couple of textbooks in science. I mean, maybe you can, if you're really good eyesight, you can read some of the titles of the books behind me. I have a lot of varied interests, things like linguistics. I have a Greek textbook there. I'm just getting a Latin one. I took Latin in school, but I had to throw my books because they were falling apart, so I ordered a new one. I've got some Python and C++ textbooks, a lot of physics textbooks right behind me. I'm a physics major, and so I've got like a lot of varied interest, and I think I might do a video or two perhaps recommending good textbooks, which I don't know if anybody would ever be interested in that, but there it is, unique, maybe. Also, I'm trying to get into manga. I probably sound so ignorant and American right now. But I'm trying to get into that because my boyfriend recently got me into anime, and I've been really digging that, and I would love to get behind the book format. Also because they come out faster, so I don't have to wait as long for the plot lines to come out. Because yeah, I won't have to wait as long for the plot lines to come out, you know. I'm impatient. Question 3. Alright. What are you most excited for about this new channel? I think I mentioned it basically already, but what I'm really hoping for is to be able to find a community, people to talk to, jam about books. Can you jam about books, or is that a solely musical term? I don't know. Maybe somebody can teach me in this community. Okay, anyway. Moving on to question 4. Why do you love reading? I wrote down 3 things here, and the first one I wrote down was escapism, because I love reading because it brings me to other places. I can travel around the world while sitting in my bedroom. You know, it's a wonderful, beautiful thing about books. But escapism isn't the only thing I look for in books. Primarily, I also try to find books that make me think a little bit, introduce me to new ideas, you know. I love words. I love when people put things together. I feel like that one isn't very easy to explain, at least for me. So thanks to Seiji from The Artisan Geek, who I will probably talk about a little bit later when they ask about this question is about favorite booktubers. she introduced me to this magazine, Poetry, and I subscribed to it. And so I figured there's like one poem that was in here that I felt really explained partially why I love words. This is by Anna Leahy, I believe is how you pronounce her name. Doing my best here. And it's called World of Glass. Oh, and this is from the December 2020 edition. So, World of Glass. Birds do not look much like leaves until fluttering leaves look, to me, like birds. Because feathering is a metaphor. Shearings are slivers trimmed from glass, and shearlings are sheep just shorn. The meaning is in the action, not in the thing itself. It's the throwing of the stone. The chip makes a waster or cullet, something flawed, return to potential, so different than flight. To leaf is to layer in gold. Pages are leafed through, and feather meant flying before it became pen, just as glass was sand before it was glass. Sheets can be paper, or they can be glass. An eye can be glass, can glass over, and plume is the shape of smoke of birds, as if etched on air. When the atmosphere cracks, glass is said to weep. No fleece, no feather or leaf, no view through the fire and glaze. Flamework gives shape to sand. The birds take their leave. I thought that was a really fun poem that played a lot with words, and I guess that's what the word I'm looking for, play. I love words, play on words, playing with words, all that stuff. Hopefully that came across somehow. Okay. All right, question 5. What book or series got you into reading? Basically, Harry Potter. And by basically, I mean not just essentially, but in the basic sense that I'm a basic ass bitch and that Harry Potter got me into reading. As you can tell, I have the books right here behind me from Harry Potter, but my interest in Harry Potter has dwindled, not slightly due to the latest and greatest from the author, but other than that, like, my interest in fantasy is slightly less, although I do love the escapism of fantasy still. It's just another example of a book that I loved as a kid that really got me into reading, that's something I still love today, is Anne of Green Gables. And I actually got this copy from an old book sale, and it's the same exact copy of what I had when I was little, so I had to buy it. So yeah, and this is still the type of books that I still love to read. So if you're interested in books like Anne of Green Gables, then you might like my channel. You know, books that are more about character development and more character driven and have just beautiful stories, I guess. I don't know. Question 6. All right, more than halfway through now. Okay. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? And then we circle back. So my favorite booktubers are like The Artisan Geek, Seiji. I love her. And I love insert literary pun here, although she's not nearly as active as she was a few years ago, which makes me sad, but I'm happy for her because I know that part of the reason she's not as much active on Booktube is because of the advances she's been making in her career and stuff, so good for her. I'm really proud of her. But the 2 questions I would ask both of them is, 1, how do you read so much? I mean, I have no idea how these people devour books so quickly. I wish I was one of them, but, you know, I'm hoping partially that Booktube will help me be more of a prolific reader while also being a more in-depth reader, which also brings me to the second question I would ask them, which is, how are you so intelligent? But basically, they speak so eloquently on books and make me want to read them and make me love words even more. It's not even the words on the page that I just love. I love their original words come from their mouths. It's, where else would words come from, really? I don't, on the page, I guess. Whatever. All right. Question 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I wrote keeping up with the Kardashians. And yeah, by that I just meant, like, one, keeping up with the trends. You know, everybody reads certain books at certain times when certain prizes or whatever come out, and I don't want to be too swayed by that. I want to still be able to read what I want to read and not be too influenced by popularity, but be more influenced by what actually interests me and be able to not be influenced too much by trends. But also trying to keep up with how fast people read. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to be able to read enough to sustain this channel, but I'm really hoping that I will be able to, because I really love books. And that brings us to question 8. When did you start reading? As my mother will tell you, 4.5. not too shabby, not too great. I read Hooked on Phonics. I really wanted to do Hooked on Phonics, do that program, because that's what they had at my daycare center. My mom always says that my cousin started reading before me. She's 2 years older than me, and she started reading before me, and she told me, like, I can read, like, read this, read that, and I was really jealous. I started crying. I was like, why can't I read? And I really wanted to learn how to read, so I was begging her to do Hooked on Phonics, and I finally was old enough, 4.5, you have to be 4.5 to be able to do the program at the daycare, and I finally got to do it. So, question 9, where do you read? Pretty basic. I read in my room, on my bed, or if the weather's nice out, I'll go to the park, sit on a bench, read there. I love reading outside when I can. And then I also wrote anywhere I can bring a book. I mean, books are great because they're portable. So I read like waiting at the doctor's office. Not that I'm allowed to go sit in the office anymore because of everything going on, but you get the point. Okay. All right. And that brings us to the final question. What kind of books do you like to read? The first thing I wrote was sharp, acerbic writing, or beautiful language. So I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be too biting, but that's fun. Just anything beautiful. Like, beautiful is such an arbitrary word, I guess, because it's so subjective. But I don't know. The first thing I thought of was the writing, for example, Zadie Smith and White Teeth. I actually just had to reread this for an English class, and it was a treat. I freaking love Zadie Smith. I have like so many Zadie Smith books right there. But yeah, she's one of my favorite authors, and she just has like this neat way of like writing such impactful things, so short and so pithy, I guess. Okay, here's a good one. So this is from like the middle of the book. You could divide the whole of humanity into 2 distinct camps as far as she was concerned. I don't know which character they're talking about. It's okay. Simply by asking them to complete a very simple questionnaire of the kind you find in Woman's Own on a Tuesday. A. Are the skies you sleep under likely to open up for weeks on end? B. Is the ground you walk on likely to tremble and split? C. Is there a chance, and please check the box, no matter how small the chance seems, that the ominous mountain casting a midday shadow over your home might one day erupt with no rhyme or reason? Because if the answer is yes to one or all of these questions, then the life you lead is a midnight thing, always a hair's breadth from the witching hour. It is volatile, it is threadbare. It is carefree in the true sense of that term. It is light, losable, like a key ring or a hair clip. Come on. I mean, the life you lead is a midnight thing. I love that line. Oh my gosh, it gives me chills. So writing like that, I like. And then of course, I also wrote like ideas. I like things that are impactful ideas, make me think. A good example of that is The Overstory by Richard Power. I love this book. One, the writing is beautiful. I didn't stick any leaf things in here, so there's no way I'm going to be able to find things that really stuck out to me. But I will tell you that it's beautiful writing. It is great big ideas about saving trees, which I never knew I cared about trees, but this book made me care about trees to a point where like I was like, damn, I'm a tree hugger. Genres as opposed to just very subjective things like good writing and also good storytelling and ideas. Other than those, or even just not even good storytelling, by the way, like doesn't have to be plot driven, it can be character driven. I love character driven, but it still has to be good just telling of the story. Maybe not a very impressive story, but a good telling of it. Okay, anyway, and a more succinct thing is genres. So I like literary fiction, classics, nonfiction, namely like histories and memoirs, and then I'm trying to get into more poetry, as you can see by the poetry magazine that I've been trying to read, and also manga, like I mentioned before, trying to get into that. So hopefully you'll see all of that on my channel. So yeah. Alright, that brings us to the end of my very first video. I'm gonna look back at this one day and cringe, or look at this back tomorrow and cringe, or look at it back in 15 minutes and cringe. But either way, it's done, it's filmed, it's gonna go out there, maybe not. We'll see if you're watching this, it went out there. Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. I hope that you will come back to this channel, see what I have to offer, and hopefully it's gonna grow, and hopefully, grow or not, I'll be able to maybe grow or not in numbers, but be able to grow in the amount of videos I produce and the amount of fun I have. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day and are enjoying 2021. All right, thanks.